Hello guys, welcome to my new channel. Here I present some of the errors that I found or observed in Ethiopian Grade 12 Mathematics textbook. Here in chapter 3, page 166, the presentation was about quartile for grouped frequency distribution. As you can see, the formula is correct, even though there is minus missing here, that is also an error. As you know, there are three quartiles. Quartile is the value that divides a given data into 4 equal parts. That is what it says. And this is a formula for group data. There are different formulas for ungrouped and for group data. But here for group data, it says, here is the error or the mistake, the fault. It says median. Here it says CF, the cumulative frequency, which is cumulative frequency that is preceding the class containing the median. It says the median, but the correct word should be here. The correct word should be the case quartile class. The case quartile class instead of median, because these serve only the median for ungrouped data. For group data. But the correct one here is the class containing the case quartile class. As we know, there are 3 quartiles, we say, and therefore for quartile 1 it must be the first quartile class, n over 4, and for the third quartile again we say 3 times n over 4. That is the case quartile class, and therefore instead of median it must be, the correct word must be the case quartile class here. And similarly here again, instead of median it should be the case quartile class. That must replace these 2 words. And this is the error I found in chapter 3, page 166 of mathematics student textbook. That means there is again the new textbook. These are errors belongs only to the new textbook, the recently published and distributed textbook. And when we come to again page 197, it talks about the coefficient of quartile deviation. Now, as you know, there are 2 kinds of dispersion. One is the absolute measure of dispersion, and the other is also the relative measure of dispersion. Now, under the relative measure of dispersion, we have the coefficient of mean deviation, and the coefficient of quartile deviation, the coefficient of standard deviation, and the coefficient of variance. These are the measure of relative dispersion. These are measure of relative dispersion. And here, as you can see in this definition, the coefficient of quartile deviation is given by CQD is equal to Q3 minus Q1, Q3 plus Q1. This is absolutely correct. But the next one here, the error is in chapter 3, page 201. I observed this error here. It says under this subtitle, we are talking about coefficient of mean deviation, CMD. But here what is written here is the coefficient of quartile deviation. Again, now under another subtitle, the coefficient of quartile deviation is also here mentioned. But the question is about the coefficient of mean deviation. We are talking here about the coefficient of mean deviation. Rather than this, the coefficient of mean deviation is the appropriate one for under this subtitle. And next again, here there are 2 definitions under the same title. Definition 3.1. Here it says the coefficient of quartile deviation from the mean Here the coefficient of quartile deviation, instead of writing the coefficient of quartile deviation, we have to replace this one. The coefficient of mean deviation is a measure of relative dispersion that is based on the mean deviation. It may be taken from the mean, the median, or the mode. We have then three coefficient of mean deviation. One, the mean deviation from the mean, the mean deviation from the median, and the mean deviation from the mode. As you can observe in this definition, again, this is a fault, which is error. The coefficient of, it says, the coefficient of quartile deviation from the mean. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. And therefore, this definition must be replaced by the coefficient of mean deviation from the mean, which is simply formulated as CMD is equal to CMD, coefficient of mean deviation, is equal to mean deviation from the mean over the mean itself. That is the coefficient. That is a measure of relative measure of dispersion. And similarly, in definition 311, we found out also here, we can see the coefficient of quartile deviation from the median. This is also wrong. It must be replaced by the coefficient of mean deviation from the median, which is simply formulated as CMD, coefficient of mean deviation, is equal to mean deviation from the median over the median itself. That gives us the coefficient of mean deviation. But here, what is written, as you can see here, is the coefficient of quartile deviation, which is wrong. Similarly, on page 201 or on page 202, it was also written the definition. I didn't attach here. The definition, it says the coefficient of quartile deviation from the mode. It says like that. But that is also wrong in the next definition, definition 3.12. That is also wrong, and therefore it must be replaced by the coefficient of mean deviation from the mode, which is simply formulated. I didn't write here actually. It is simply written as mean deviation from the mode over the mode itself. That gives us the coefficient of mean deviation, which is measure of relative dispersion. Another error again in the same chapter, page 202. Here is exercise 322. Exercise 322. We say in the definition there is no coefficient of quartile deviation from the mean. There is no coefficient of quartile deviation from the mode, and so on. And therefore, here in this box, in the red box, instead of writing the coefficient of quartile deviation from the mean, we should replace this coefficient of quartile deviation by coefficient of mean deviation from the mean. Mean deviation from the mean. That gives us the relative measure of dispersion of mean deviation. Mean deviation. Similarly here, it says find the coefficient of quartile deviation from the mode. This is also incorrect. Instead, the word in the box must be replaced by the coefficient of mean deviation from the mode of the continuous group data given below. It should be replaced by that one. Now I write the comment here. The comment here are in red, as you can see, and I also inbox the Ministry of Education, the Ethiopian Ministry of Education, on their official Facebook page about these errors, but I didn't get the response yet. But I hope once now the book is distributed all over the country, but they will observe these errors and make the necessary correction on each of these one, because in the future this will lead students to some faulty lessons about this portion. And that is it. And subscribe to this channel, and you will get another, maybe if another error, I found out another error in the future, I will present in the same way. But the most important thing is, in this channel I will solve problems problems that were found on the entrance examination, the past entrance examination, and I will predict the coming entrance examination and solve all of them in this chapter. And therefore, please subscribe to this channel and click on notification. You will get the best out of it. Thank you for today.